All right, for years now, Russia has been secretly funding far-left greenie anti-fossil fuel groups in the U.S. and in Europe. This is a bizarre story, and it was Rick Perry last night who reminded us of this story. So, joining me now, we have North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer, who's on the Environment and Public Works Committee and Armed Services. Senator Cramer, as always, sir, welcome.
Thank you.
This stuff's coming back. Rick Perry mentioned it last night. Russia has a history. I got a letter all the way back to my friend Steve Mnuchin when he was Treasury Secretary about this. Foreign entities funneling millions of dollars to various, phony companies to influence the U.S. I mean, the Russians are spending money to promote the greenies, who, of course, hate fossil fuels, which would put Russia in a more powerful fossil fuel position, I guess. Can you speak to it, Senator? Have you thought much about this, heard much about it?
Well, as you said, Larry, it's been around a long time, and it sort of rears its head every now and then. And this is an obvious time. It should shock us, but for some reason it doesn't shock me to know that Russia and the American left are colluding on a political agenda that benefits each of them in their own respective countries. I mean, the Green New Deal is a socialist agenda, as you know, as admitted to by AOC. Russia naturally likes socialist agendas. At the same time, it paves the way in markets for Russia to sell its much dirtier fossil fuels. And guess who doesn't benefit from this? The environment. The environment doesn't, because American fossil energy is so much cleaner and produced with so much higher standards, environmental standards, labor standards. And but the greenies get their political agenda here, and Russian misinformation once again influences policy in the United States.
Well, I mean, part of it is the hypocrisy of these greenie groups. I mean, you're right. You scratch a radical greenie deep enough, you're going to come up with a socialist who does not believe in the U.S. market system and probably doesn't even like America. So I'll say that. But, I mean, Russia, through dummy corporations, Rick Perry mentioned last night, some of this stuff is down in these places in the Caribbean and so forth. I think it's worse than dirty pool. Well, it's just dirty in general. But somebody ought to have an investigation or something.
So I think you make an important point. I think every organization that's received money from Russia ought to be under investigation. Remember, we spent millions of dollars, several years, investigating Russian collusion with the Trump campaign and the Trump administration, only to have President Trump exonerated. We ought to spend a fraction of that much, and we could probably get to the bottom of this collusion, which has a very negative impact not only on our economy, but on the environment, and, of course, helps fund not just Russian oil and gas, but Russia's war right now, and it deserves its own investigation. I completely agree, Larry. And it should be done. It could be done by Congress, or maybe it could be done, or should be done by, say, the Justice Department.
Yes, absolutely. I got a couple other beauties for you, Senator Cramer. The Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer, she is trying to stop, once again, this Enbridge Line 5 pipeline, doing everything she can to stop it, which would jack up gasoline prices. And then the best one, I woke up this morning, sir, and I'm reading the papers, and the Progressive Caucus in the House wants to end all offshore drilling on federal lands, Now, this is fabulous stuff aimed at $10 gasoline, That's what this is all about, $10 gasoline at the very moment. And, of course, it would put money in Russia's pockets also, because it would make us more energy. I mean, how in the world, you have to help me, sir. I've been around a while. These are dumb things, but more than that, they're hostile, they're harmful to the United States security position.
No question, you've said it, Larry, and while there's obviously a lot of room in the liberals' head, I do not want to get in it and try to understand it, because this is hypocrisy, it is anti-American, frankly, it's anti-environment once again. But just imagine what they're suggesting. What they're advocating for is this, very high-priced gasoline to force people to purchase a car that hasn't been made, that they'll never be able to afford, that requires a supply chain that comes largely from China. I mean, if we want to just acquiesce everything to our enemies, let's continue down this crazy path. I'd rather use the incredible ingenuity and the incredible natural resources of the United States of America to build up a peaceful world and our own economy. And that includes, by the way, oil and gas, obviously, coal, nuclear, electricity, and also lithium and all the critical minerals that we need to bring more of our manufacturing for every type of energy source back to the United States. That would be good for the world. That would be good for the environment and our economy and national security.
You know, Senator, just last one, I was wrong. It's worse than I mentioned. The headline here is House Dems want Biden to declare national climate emergency and ban oil drilling on federal lands, not offshore. Ban oil drilling on all federal lands. Now,
well, Larry, in some cases they're doing that, even though the president likes to talk about 900 or however many thousand leases on federal lands there are. The reality is that the timeline for getting a permit to drill has been increased by multiples, and what that does is that's just one more chilling regulatory effect on capital. And what we ought to be doing is encouraging, not just with our rhetoric, but with our actions. And so I'm talking to lots of oil and gas executives at all sizes, all shapes, and trying to find out what should we be doing to get capital investment back in your industry here in the United States of America.
the cavalry's coming, Senator. I just don't know if it comes soon enough. That's the deal. The cavalry's coming. Senator Kevin Cramer, sir, as always, we thank you.